Welcome to a landmark chapter in the saga of the brightest names. Welcome to your refuge for depth, context, and clarity, Turkish Spotlight Secrets. As 2026 approaches and the city outside crackles with fireworks and noisy countdowns, a softer glow has risen from a discreet corner of Istanbul. Tonight, we walk into the quiet wake left by a duo who shaped an entire moment in Turkish pop culture, Yaman and Demet Özdemir. For months, the air has been thick with uncertainty, fed by whispers of cool distance, of eye contact lost on set, of schedules used as shields. Yet what unfurled in the last hours is far past idle chatter, it carries the weight of a declaration. Before we break down each intimate image that has set social platforms ablaze, a gentle invitation: if you appreciate analysis that's thoughtful, elegant, and honest, subscribe to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. Tap the bell so the rhythm of the stars never slips by you. And if you feel called to become a pillar of this space and unlock exclusive insights, click the join button now. Your membership is what lets us look where others refuse to look, with the respect and rigor you deserve. Now, hush, because we are about to cross the threshold into the sanctuary of Can and Demet. New Year's Eve tends to be a stage for spectacle, but for them, the arrival of 2026 has been an ode to essence. The photographs they've allowed to circulate, deliberate or not as its own poetry, reveal a profound shift in how they want to be seen. There are no glittering galas, no borrowed gowns or tuxedos meant to dazzle a red carpet. What we see is the architecture of a life, textured warmth, clean lines, the calm of a home that breathes. A small New Year tree, tenderly decorated, strands of soft light turning corners into pockets of peace, a quiet that contradicts every scripted rumor of parting. Demet's ease, unforced and luminous without an ounce of ceremony, and Can's unhurried comfort signal that these frames weren't a publicity exercise. They feel like windows opened for a moment to let the world sense the stillness two people have found after the storm. For us at Turkish Spotlight Secrets, this is not a detail, it is evidence. When love is real, it doesn't thunder, it hums. For weeks, gossip pages dined on their absence. There were quick takes about paths diverging, speculation that the chemistry that once put them at the center of every conversation had dissolved under the heat of fame. The answer from the couple has been a master class in restraint, silence. While others scramble to compose denials, to stitch together crisis management statements, Can and Demet chose to look inward. At Turkish Spotlight Secrets, we read this as maturity, pure and simple. They're no longer the two rising stars who need to validate their feelings in a public courtroom. They are two adults who understand that in the thin air of success, privacy is the only oxygen that keeps a bond alive. Those closest to Demet suggest that this choice to usher in the new year in seclusion was a pact of protection forged between equals. Can, with his exacting schedule and relentless discipline, adjusted the machinery of his world to honor the quiet she wanted. It's a contemporary kind of chivalry, one that is neither loud nor showy, but designed to shelter. And the message? Clear enough to silence 1,000 headlines. This is not a relationship torn by conflict, it's a relationship pruned carefully, like a garden before spring. Allow us a pause, dear Turkish Spotlight Secrets family, in a narrative filled with signs and symbols. We want to ask you directly. Do you think calm and understatement are the sharpest tools to cut through rumor in the entertainment sphere? Or do you believe public figures owe more transparency to the people who champion them? Which other Turkish couple would you like us to examine with the same care and sincerity here on our channel? Tell us in the comments, we read every line with attention. And if this thoughtful approach matters to you, press like. To sustain independent, rigorous storytelling, the join button is your VIP pass to the truth. By joining, you keep the lights on in the rooms where this kind of work happens. Demet appears to have crossed an intangible border into a new phase of herself. People who know her quietly say the last months have been devoted to a kind of emotional housecleaning. She isn't measuring her worth in numbers anymore, she's centering her peace. This intentional, meaning-drenched New Year's was born of a decision not to let her private life be ground into content. The retreat, people whisper, has knit her closer to Can. In the amber light of home, over a simple dinner for two, with music barely above a whisper and their own truth for company, they found the thread that first pulled them together. Can, even with the demands that string him between countries and sets, became a steadying force, removing any frictions that could chip the balance they fought to build. At Turkish Spotlight Secrets, we applaud this turn toward adulthood, the chapter where joy is held in the heart rather than displayed in shop windows. The industry is taking note, caught somewhere between surprise and admiration. Turkey is used to grand gestures, televised makeups, clever confessions staged for maximum engagement. But the way Can and Demet have spoken, through a few heartfelt frames, has bent the rules. No exclusives to extinguish rumors of a rift. No carousel of captions spelling out emotional footnotes. Only images that radiate a quiet certainty. To the analysts at Turkish Spotlight Secrets, that's strategy without looking like strategy. By refusing to play arsonist or firefighter to the blaze of gossip, they shifted attention back to their craft and the steadiness of their bond. The mood online changed, from suspicion to a kind of reverence. Comments swelled with variations of the same theme: "This is how grown-ups love." Study the photographs closely and there are subtleties many would miss, details we have traced with care. The energy in the space is not about mending, it's about maintaining. Their looks, caught in unguarded moments, carry the ease of people who have learned to walk beside each other without blurring into one person. This, sources say, is why 2026 will look different. Demet has resolved to take on projects that honor her need for interior calm, work that does not turn her life into a corridor of spotlights. Can, grounded by this steadiness, is ready to meet the next professional gauntlets with focus and patience. The message could not be clearer: they stand side by side, they are resilient, and when faced with a choice between circus and sanctuary, they choose sanctuary. This New Year's Eve wasn't a finale. It was the prologue to an era in which Can and Demet write their own rulebook. Before we close, our gratitude to you for making Turkish Spotlight Secrets the place where celebrity narratives are treated with care and elegance. If you haven't joined our membership yet, you are missing deep dives we reserve for our inner circle. Click join to sustain journalistic independence and help us pursue stories to the depth they demand. Members receive badges, early insights, and a voice in choosing what we examine next. Hit join now. As we seal this account of a year's turning, the picture that remains is simple: against the tides of speculation, Can Yaman and Demet Özdemir have stood firm. They've reminded everyone that love is not a press release, it's a quiet promise renewed in a room where both feel safe. Their choice to welcome the year in a way that is calm yet meaningful is a gift not only to themselves, but to everyone who prefers truth over spectacle. Here at Turkish Spotlight Secrets, we will keep watching the signs, the gestures, and the silences, and we'll bring you what matters with the gravity and respect you expect from us. May 2026 offer them the serenity they have pursued with such intention. Thank you for traveling this reflective path with us. If this story nudged you to protect what you hold dear, do us a favor: like the video, send it to those who followed Can and Demet through every season, and subscribe to the channel. And once more, consider joining our member circle by clicking join. Your support is the flame that keeps Turkish Spotlight Secrets alive. We'll see you in the next exclusive, always here, always with the same promise: to look beyond the noise and bring you the truth. And if you're still with us, take one last look at the frame that started it all: the small tree that doesn't need to be tall to be radiant, the soft light that doesn't need to blind to be warm, the two figures who don't need to pose to be compelling. There is a certain courage in choosing the quiet lane when the highway of attention is open and fast. It would have been easier to orchestrate a party, to parade high-wattage friends, to dim the whispers with noise. Instead, they let the whispers run out of breath on their own. That is the playbook moving forward. Less noise, more knowing. Less proving, more living. And for those who still insist on reading absence as distance, there is a counterargument written in a language older than fame: the way two people relax when they trust each other. As fireworks faded into fog and the city began to sleep, the room at the center of our story did not empty of meaning. It filled with small, deliberate acts. A plate cleared, a candle snuffed, a phone face down. Somewhere a song ended and another began. There are relationships that burn hot and vanish with the smoke, then there are those that learn, adapt, and breathe. You know which one this is. And when the first morning of the year lifted over the Bosphorus, the photographs remained in the digital ether, not as bait, not as brags, but as a gentle thesis: you can be visible and still belong to yourselves. That is what Can and Demet chose. That is what we witnessed. That is why this story matters. If your heart is tuned to these frequencies, stay close to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. We will keep listening, not to the loudest sound, but to the truest one. Subscribe, tap the bell, and if you can, become a member so we can continue turning down the volume on noise and turning up the light on nuance. In a world that begs for spectacle, we'll keep defending the rare luxury of authenticity. Until next time, keep your eyes on the quiet places. That is where the real stories glow.